I dislike snow removal very much. I might even go as far to say it's not real nice. However, I got a tool here that I'm really happy I got. And if you're a homeowner, a DIYer, and you got to deal with snow removal, especially on those smaller jobs, you might want to check this out. Now, about 20 years ago, I ended up blowing out a few discs in my back, simply using a shovel and just doing that twist of motion. It was not real nice. Like, the snow was wet. It was heavy. It was deep that day, my friends. I sort of never recovered from it. I am not too ashamed to admit that I am weak and feeble. So I always use a larger snowblower, even on the smaller jobs, you know, the sidewalks, the patio. It's just sort of a pain in the butt to get the larger machines, especially when you don't have that much snow. So I decided to get a new snow shovel, but this one here is a little bit different than what you were used to using. You see right here? So what I have right here today, my friends, is the new SKIL 40-volt snow shovel. Now again, when you think of snow shovel, you think of snow shovel. And this sort of resembles one. You got the scoop right here, but the main difference is you got this big plastic blade, or this auger basically, that's gonna spin around, take that snow and spit it out. Now before I use and abuse and I show you this thing moving the snowage, there's a couple things that you're gonna wanna know about this. So right off the bat, really, the only manual thing about this is picking up and moving it around. You got a 40-volt battery that it comes with and a charger. Now, what I like about this kit is that they're going to give you the larger battery, the 4AH, so it's going to give you a little bit more runtime. Usually when a company sells a kit like this, they'll give you a smaller battery, like a 2AH, and then you have to go out and buy the larger ones. But the 4AH, I'm happy with that. So why don't we go and take this out, use and abuse a little bit, take that snowage and throw it somewhere, preferably the neighbor's yard. Then we'll come back, go in a little bit more detail. We'll talk about the specs, the runtime, all that good stuff. But let me show you what I got going on right now.
So where this thing shines is, like I mentioned, the smaller jobs, your patios, your sidewalks, your decks, your porches, all that good stuff. I don't want to rip out the giant 28-inch snowblower for every little small job that I have. I also don't want to be dealing with snow shovels anymore, especially with my back. So what's nice about this is that once you set this on the ground, you just glide it, and it's real smooth, if you ask me. Now, even ice didn't have any issues with this, and I'll show you, even that snow that's like stuck to the ground because it sort of froze and then, you know, defrosted and refroze again. I didn't have any issues with this. There's a scraper on there. You can see this gets the stuff off pretty clean. Now, there's about 3 inches sitting on the ground right here, and it is the fluffier stuff, but there are some areas that are a little bit more, how should I say, moist. Now, this will clean a swath, a path 12 inches wide, and it'll throw the snow up to 20 feet away. And again, there's no gas, there's no starting, you know, pulling strings. This is all battery powered, and it's a 40 volt, so I didn't experience any bogging down or anything when it comes to the snow removal. It did a really good job in basically all the applications that I put it on. I will, however, let you know, just like on anything, if you have pavers, you know, if you hold this thing down too far, or if that scraper's pointed down too far, you could catch up. So you can maneuver this thing up or down, get a little bit closer to the ground if you wanted to. If you want this thing completely cleaned off, you can do that. If you just want to leave maybe like a 1/4 inch of snow, and you just want to get the heavy stuff off, you can do that as well. But check this out. This is where the ice was built up from everybody walking and letting the dog out, all that good stuff. You can see that it's, well, it's stuck, but it'll scrape it off. Now, it is a plastic scraper. There's no metal on this. However, it is pretty sharp. This thing's built pretty well for what it is and for the price range. Now, you can use this to clean off steps in your patio tables if you wanted to. Some people say, well, why don't you just use a snowblower? And you could in a lot of instances with the lighter, fluffier stuff. But when you get that wet, heavy, moist stuff, well, it doesn't work out so well if you have ice build up on there. And especially if you're trying to blow this thing far enough away that you just don't want to take the leaf blower and blow the snow right back on the seats or whatever, you might want to use something like this. Now, even in the grass, I want to clear a path to my workshop. Well, this thing worked very, very well. Now, I had to bend down a little bit. Me personally, I could have lifted that up a little bit, or I should have adjusted a handle. I was just way too lazy. But I am 6 foot tall. You can see I am bending down a little bit, but I guess I would have been doing that with a regular shovel anyway. So, you know, but what's nice about this, even on the grass, it just glides. The plastic on the bottom, you know, the shoes, I guess, it just allows you to sort of push this thing, and it does the work and throws it out in front of you. And again, there is a little bit of a delay when you pull the trigger, but not much, and then it's instant power. There's a lot of torque when it comes to these battery powered tools. So Really was impressed with this.
Now, the only downside to something like this is if you are using this on a larger project, such as a 2-car driveway. Unlike a snowblower where you're able to adjust the chute and blow it out, this just blows straight, so it's sort of going to blow that snow in the path that you're heading towards. However, the one thing you're going to definitely have to watch out for are things like this. You know, usually with your larger snowblowers, you got the bigger augers or tines, whatever you want to call them. It's going to blow it out a larger chute. Well, this here, a little bit smaller. So if you hit a larger rock or a stick, it could get jammed in here. You see this right here? That's a big old hunkin' plastic piece of bone right there. A fake bone for the dog. Now what happened was this was on my deck and it got in there like that and got caught up in. Didn't know what to do. However, Skill made it pretty easy to unclog jams. You see that right there? There's 4 screws. You can remove those 4 screws. This bottom scraper piece comes off and then you can release the jam very easy. That I was actually happy for and thankful for because I was able to get this thing out, which was really jammed in there. So that's definitely one thing you need to pay attention to. Make sure there's no rocks in your driveway, sticks in your driveway, plastic bones for your dog in the driveway, and especially like straps for like your grill, your smokers. If you have anything dangling or hanging, you don't want this thing grabbing or ripping it off. Now you do have about a 12-inch swath right here. I was surprised with how powerful this unit was. It really does take the snow and just blows it. I know a lot of them don't do it. I wish that you could somehow tilt this a little bit to the left or right and sort of blow it out of your way, but other than that, it did a really good job. Now, as far as runtime goes, they're claiming, and I haven't used it to this extent yet, but you can clear a 2-car driveway of 4 inches of snow on a single charge on the 4AH battery. Now, I do want to point something out that's pretty cool about this. If you were to buy this kit, what's nice about this is Skill's 40-volt attachment system, basically. And what you can do is you can actually take this head off. And if you want to put a weed eater attachment, string trimmer attachment, edger, whatever, all you have to do is simply turn this, take that out, put the new attachment in, and it'll run off of this system. So I think it's pretty real nice. And it is really simple to use. You got 2 different speeds. You can go slower speed, and it's analog, no digital, or you can go the faster speed. You can go left-handed, right-handed on this thing. There's your safety switch. You just push that in, and once you do, just come over here and pull the trigger. Now, I did pull the heads off of here, and on the inside, the belt, it's pretty heavy duty. I was surprised with how well that belt was built when they put that on. You're going to need that in case you do get a jam. You don't want those belts breaking. They did a good job. However, when I got that bone wedged in there, I really thought, well, I'm going to bust out this plastic around either the casing or the blade. Didn't have any issues with that. I was able to take those screws out, take that scraper off, and I was able to get that bone out, put them back on, and it was fine. Now, as for the scraper, there's no metal on it. It is all plastic. It works good. Just letting you know, it's not the sharpest out there, but it does scrape pretty good from what I was able to do with it. Now again, as for the weight, definitely not as light as a regular snow shovel. However, because this might be a little bit heavier, you're adding the load of doing this and twisting the back with the regular snow shovel, which this will not make you do. Now it is all brushless. You don't ever have to worry about changing anything out. You can remove this handle, adjust this handle, bring it up, bring it down for more comfort, and you can add a strap if you wanted to. Now I do want to point out a couple other things. Will this work for other things like leaves and no, anything dry, this thing's going to get gumped up and it's just not going to work. It's going to get jammed and you're probably going to break it. The other question is, could I use this to remove snow off of my car or truck? Nah. This is a very hard plastic which will completely scratch, ruin, and dent your automobile, so don't do that. You might be able to use a leaf blower for that. That would probably work better than this. But all in all, I was really sort of surprised with how well this did. Now we had a couple inches, a few inches, like 3 inches. Took the snow, blew it out. It was a little wetter, or should I say, moist. And it took it and it blew it, and it was quick. I was able to make a path. This is really good for your small areas, your patios, your decks, your sidewalks, where you don't want to take the shovel and twist your back, especially if you're older and maybe you have some body issues like me. Listen, this body's got to carry around a lot of man. It's weak and feeble. It gets tired carrying around all that man. So instead of whipping out the larger snow blowers where I don't have to, I'll just use this, and definitely makes my life a lot easier. Now, if you want to check this thing out for yourself, check out that little shopping bag that's attached to this video. It'll lead you right to this product. And check out this video right there. You're going to think it's real nice like as well. Back with more videos soon.